So we talked to Taylor. Let's talk to one of the pastors of a church that he put a
Eugene
flyer up in. Eugene, how are you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Good, so are we. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I pastor at a small church of about 8 congregants.
Oh, wow.
Very small.
And you won't believe me because of your sin, but the faith of our organization was able to cause the raising of the dead, and that's all I want to say about that.
Okay, can you prove it?
Whom
Not
rose?
with a cell phone, no. But
No, I'm not asking about it. Like, did the coroner get a hold of the body?
Yeah, to walk us through that.
well, no, this occurred in a prayer circle.
Do you
Someone
pray
died
over
in
the dead often?
Did someone die in the circle?
Well, I would prefer not to cast my pearls before the swine.
Are we swine?
Not literally, but that's
Are we
all I
figurative
want to say
swine?
about that.
Are you? I mean,
Yeah.
presumably.
That's rather condescending.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't mean to be offensive, but I believe in speaking plainly.
Well, I believe you're responsible for the things that you have to say, Eugene. I don't think you're swine. I think we could get along.
Okay.
So,
Well,
so you said, because I know that it says in the Bible that, Jamie, what is the passage? The call to
Preach the word.
Yeah.
1 Peter 3:15.
1 Peter 3:15.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm psychic as well.
First Peter 3:15 would empower you to want to, show us and back up your faith.
Are you familiar with the passage, assuming I've cited it correctly?
well, I can put it this way. I'm not here to do anything other than proclaim that Jesus Christ has risen from the dead.
Cool.
I've been combating
Are you?
defeating atheism for over 20 years now.
Okay.
Cool.
And I think it's helpful
I
that
would
we go
be
back
happy
to
to be the
beginning.
next name on your list of defeated atheists. Are you prepared to
Well,
give the reason for the joy that you have found in your heart?
I will. And I think we look no further than the life and miracles and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
These are occurrences in recorded history.
They're recorded in a book,
New
in your
Testament.
book.
Yeah.
Well, the New Testament contains records of these events.
Sure.
Yep.
They are factual.
Well, my book says that I'm God.
Yeah.
Well, that book is completely wrong.
How can you tell the difference?
Fiction. The Holy Ghost allows us to know the difference. God himself writes upon our hearts.
Well,
How can
I'm
you
glad
tell
you
that it's
understand that
not-
I wrote that upon
Yeah.
your heart. Now, how can
Yeah.
you tell the difference between me being your God and the God that you're saying is not me? Because I think
Well,
we need to have
there's
proof.
oxygen.
Like we should have evidence to be able to
Carbon
show.
dioxide, and they work together.
What works
Plants
together?
produce oxygen, carbon dioxide,
Okay.
and this is a cycle.
Right.
And there are many, many other cycles that can be mentioned, and these have been ordained and they're orchestrated by the God of the Bible.
Okay, so the last part, right? I agree with you that things exist and things happen. But the last part where you say,
that's what I wanted to
because
talk
God,
about,
that
reality
because
itself
God part,
proclaims the existence of God.
what's
I'm
the
sorry,
existence
one
of
at a
God?
time.
Sorry?
Reality itself.
Okay. Then
so-
how is it possible for
Cool.
us to be atheists
Yeah.
and you to be able to say that with a straight face? Because obviously
Well,
that's not
or a
true.
Dave.
And I don't mean to be condescending.
You are
Yeah.
being condescending if you're going to say so. It's like saying I'm not racist, but the next thing you say is going to be racist,
Yeah.
right?
Also-
so if you're tempted to say something condescending,
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, Eugene,
Well, I'm a sinner myself, so I was going to say that your sin is more than likely keeping you from believing in the God of the Bible.
why do you believe that?
Well, we all sin.
We all sin, and some of us believe in the God of the Bible. So why would sin determine whether or not we believe in the God of the Bible if it doesn't affect that?
Well, sin is universal, and that's
Yeah.
that
And
needn't be,
belief and
you
disbelief
can-
in the God of the Bible is not universal. So if you say, here's this universal thing, everyone has it, and it's causing you to not believe. I have it as well, and it's not causing me to not believe. I'm still looking
Well,
for a
you two
difference.
gentlemen are young, but I imagine that you're familiar with children. Nobody needs to teach a child to lie. A child will lie on his own or on her own.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be taught.
Children
Now
that believe that the name of God is Allah, lie. Children that believe that Vishnu is a god, lie. Children that believe that Jesus is a god, lie. And children that don't believe in gods also lie. My question is, if you're trying to say that a child lying makes them not believe, then presumably what you'd be saying is
No,
children that believes
what
in...
I'm saying is,
what's the difference?
Is dishonesty, deception, bearing false witness.
Mm-hmm.
These are sins.
Okay.
Now we understand that.
Yeah.
They needn't be taught to children. Children will do them on their own naturally, and that's because they have what is called the sin nature.
Hold on. No. Okay. Yeah, you got to back that up, buddy. Because dishonesty, you're putting scaffolding on it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're saying that this exists. That's extra to the actual explanation.
Well, have you ever encountered a child or encountered any adult or adolescent who?
Yeah, I was walking in the tall grass and a wild child appeared. It was level 5 and I captured it. But what I will say is we agree with you. Children lie. What does that have to do with why you believe that we are incapable of finding Jesus?
Well, and understand that lying is just one of many different sins. There are many. A toy taken from another.
Well, we're using your example though, so let's stick to lying.
No, we're familiar with the concept of everyone sins, and therefore, what?
Well, because of that sin, we are condemned unless a mediator steps in. And that mediator, I misspoke. That mediator, capital M, is Jesus Christ. And that comes straight from the Bible.
Where?
That is God's Word. And we must believe it.
So, cool, but condemned by whom?
Just as we must believe that
condemned by whom?
Breathing oxygen.
Eugene, answer Jamie, please.
Eugene, we lie or steal something, and because of this sin, we need a mediator to not be condemned by whom?
Well, we stand condemned on our own.
We stand condemned on our own by whom?
Well, because the sin
by whom?
Occurred.
Hey, Eugene, who is the ultimate judge of human nature, of guilt?
The New Testament tells us.
Are you walking around it, or do you really not believe that God judges people?
He's getting to that now.
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Okay, so Jesus Christ is the person that is going to judge, that we stand condemned by, correct?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes, okay. And so in order to not be condemned by Jesus Christ, we have to do the things that Jesus Christ commands, presumably.
Well, we have to first accept him.
Yeah, we accept that Jesus Christ has condemned us and that he's commanded these things. And if we want to avoid this condemnation, we must keep the commandments, obey the commands of this person.
Right.
And we...
First commandment, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt not.
Presumably, Eugene, I'm just making sure that we're on the same page. Have I understood that part of your doctrine correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the difference between...
That's okay.
What is the difference between the God that I just described and a moral thug or a dictator that says you will follow my instructions or I will send you to Siberia?
Well, dictators, as I understand them, they punish wantonly, and they don't use what we might call morality. They
can say, "Here are my rules, and if you break them, I will send you to Siberia."
Okay.
Here are my rules, and if you break them, I will send you to hell.
And
I don't see the difference between the God that you are talking about right now and Stalin.
Well, and I don't want to get lost here, but speaking too much of the condemnation, because God is also just.
Cool. We'll get there as soon as we're done talking about the condemnation.
Yeah. So the justice that can be found in the condemnation part is where?
Well, God himself is just. He's also life, he's love, he's many things, but he is justice. He personifies justice.
Okay. So what you're saying is the rules that we are instructed to follow are just rules.
Well, rules isn't quite strong enough.
Commandments from God that we are commanded to follow by God are just commandments.
Well, yes, they are just.
Okay.
They couldn't be anything other than just, because the lawgiver...
Wait, they couldn't be anything other than just?
So are they just because God says them and God is justice?
Well, remember, he's also the creator of all things. So
we don't have to.
That does whether or not he created it. That seems to be a separate point. What I'm saying is, you've said these commandments are just. They couldn't not be just because God is justice.
Well, you think of a musician. Musicians make music, right? Lawgivers make laws. He is our lawgiver. He is justice. Ergo, he is just.
And preachers and religious leaders make religions. You want this one?
Please. I would love this one.
All right.
Okay, Eugene. So I'm going to move past that because I don't think you want to talk about condemnation. I've noticed you kind of skipping past it a little bit.
That's an important aspect of God's plan.
Hold on a second. That is the understatement of the century, Eugene, wouldn't you think?
It's
because
the whole Megillah. When we focus too much on the condemnation, we don't think of the life-giving blood.
Because okay. Now I am going to move into the condemnation.
He hits
hold
me
on a
when
second.
I make him unhappy, but think of the good times we've had as well.
Yeah. So I mean, hold on a sec. Eternal torment. Is there anything a person can do to you that you would subject them to eternal torment? You, Eugene. Anything. Have you seen someone in pain for more than an hour?
Well, my brother, he was in a car wreck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. This was back in 1980, I want to say 88, maybe 89. And he lost his ability to use his legs for the better part of a year.
Okay. Do you think hell is better than that or worse than that or about the same?
Oh, worse.
Okay.
In fact, it is very much like a steaming landfill.
Okay.
With fire and brimstone.
Okay, so maybe your brother is not the best example.
Not really the point.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Say.
Oh, then maybe your brother's not the best example. Because if you wouldn't wish what happened on your brother to someone, which I'm
would you
guessing
wish
is where
what
you're
happened
going?
to your brother on someone?
Oh, no.
Okay, then that makes you more moral than your God.
Well, I cannot be more moral than my God.
Well, you can. You're just defining your God as something that...
it's morality by definition. Well, the word that you're using, God, so far doesn't comport with reality. I would say you're more moral than your God because your God did wish what happened to your brother on someone. He wished it on your brother.
We have free will, and my brother was in a car of his own free will.
Okay,
all right.
No, I got this.
There were other cars.
Eugene?
There were other cars involved.
Eugene? Is there free will in heaven?
I don't see how that's relevant.
Follow me here. Is there free will in heaven? I'll show you how.
I would say yes.
Okay. So there is free will in heaven.
As I understand the New Testament, as I understand what few passages we have about heaven, the kingdom of heaven.
Okay. So in the kingdom of heaven, is there sin or evil?
Absolutely not. Okay.
Can you tell or be in God's presence when you're in heaven?
There's no sin in the kingdom of heaven. It could not be there.
Okay.
Because
so follow me with this.
Goodness
So follow me with this, right? If you have free will, right, and you can be in heaven where there's no evil, that means that you can give people the free will to make a choice about their God, right? There's the story of Satan who did just that, who knew God existed and left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can know things, if you can both have free will and live in a place where there's not all of this evil, why would a God put us here to have that free will?
Yeah.
Because if you have free will without it, then why give babies cancer? Why create parasites that can dig into your eyeballs and horrible, long, painful deaths?
Well,
Right?
don't forget that we live in a fallen world.
No, okay, you have to, hold on, you have to back that up. Follow me here. I'd like you to answer to
I
this.
will.
Hold on.
And I will.
Okay, so how come a God can create a world without evil and yet does
Doesn't.
so anyway?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot like the settings on your television. You can crank up the color, and there's too much color on the screen, or you can crank up the brightness.
Okay.
And then there's too much. So there must be a balance.
Are you saying heaven is
must
not
be.
balanced?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is in order to understand the goodness of paradise, the goodness of the kingdom of heaven, we must know that there is a contrast. There's an opposite to all of the goodness that is inherent in the kingdom of heaven.
But if you can do
And
that
that's where the
and take
evil
away
world-
evil, right? If you can do that and prevent people from suffering for many years in agony, right? I mean, isn't like breaking your leg bad enough? Right? Can we just live in a world where people only break their bones but there are no diseases? Does it have to be that bad?
Well, I imagine that all things will be righted in the eternities.
Okay, well, your God made it wrong in the first place. And I can actually explain to you and show you how you're better than that. If your TV was dark, but every time you turned up the brightness on your TV, it electrocuted somebody in the room, how bright would you make your TV?
Now, am I turning the brightness down or?
I would too.
Well,
I would turn the brightness down for sure. Because I care more about other people than I do about the balance of my TV.
And I mentioned the TV here because we had a technician come in and he set the picture at our television at the meeting house.
Mhm.
So, and we paid quite a bit for that. But
Do you mind if I
I
ask?
guess my
You said the meeting house. Are you a Jehovah's Witness?
no,
Okay.
no, they no. Otherwise, you'd hear me proclaim Jehovah.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know where I was.
And Jehovah is really an English creation of the word. The tetragrammaton, you've heard it. So that's a little different.
Eugene, I absolutely am adoring this conversation, largely because of the sincerity, the calm attitude,
Yeah.
and
Well,
the friendliness that you're calling in, Eugene. It's really refreshing.
I've, like I said, my son watches your show, and I was interested in calling.
All right. Well,
Well, I'm glad you wanted to call in. I would,
yeah.
if I can
I mean,
circle back
go
around.
ahead.
We've touched on so many things.
We did, and there's so many good ones.
So many things. So with your brother's car accident, just circling back around to the direct example, is that a car accident that God was incapable of preventing?
I don't think it's a question of whether he allowed this or didn't allow that.
I mean, that is the question I'm asking, though.
But I mentioned earlier that my brother, who is alive today, he
I'm glad to hear it.
has free will. He's able to make decisions. And sometimes
Did he decide to get hit by another car?
No. And he was not intoxicated or inebriated or anything of that matter.
And I'm glad to hear that.
So how does his free will come into it?
Wrong place, wrong time, as we would say. Wrong place, wrong time.
Then who determined the place and time of that car accident at the creation of the universe?
Well, that's begging the question.
Well,
I mean, if he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, wasn't jumping in front of a car or anything like that, then it sounds like his free will didn't come into it at all. It sounds like he was a victim. I mean, does anything happen that isn't according to God's will?
Sin.
Okay, didn't your God create sin?
Yeah.
No.
No.
But he did.
Didn't your God create everything? I mean, maybe I talked to the wrong Christians. Help me out.
Well, he absolutely created all things. That's
Except
why I
sin.
mentioned oxygen and carbon
did
dioxide
God
earlier.
create human beings the way that they are today?
Well, I think he knew the
So
outcome.
he knew that this was going to happen. So, for example, he knew that he would create a world where your brother gets in a car accident and an innocent person is murdered and bad things happened, and he did it anyway.
You have to understand, since the fall of Adam,
Since the fall of Adam, it's okay for
whole-
God to totally wreck up our shit. Yeah.
no, I would say the whole of humanity, with free choice,
Okay.
is
Just
free.
to be clear, did Adam outsmart God,
Hold on.
or did God know that Adam was
Or
going to
salvation.
fall?
Okay. Actually, can I?
Yeah, take it. Go.
Okay. Eugene, do you got your Bible handy?
I do.
Awesome. Can you turn to Isaiah for me? We're going to go to Isaiah 45.
I'm familiar with this verse.
You are? Where he says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I am Jehovah,
Okay.
who does all these things. Are we reading it wrong? Because it seems like your Bible says that your God created sin, or evil specifically.
Well, as I said, he created the whole of humanity and allowed them to choose damnation or salvation. And that is the choice.
All right. So he created the choice, knowing what the choice was going to be, and said, oh, okay, cool. I have these children that I love very much. I'm going to create a basement full of fiery hell that I know many of them will choose to live in for eternity based on my fucked up rules, and I'm okay with that.
Again, begging the question.
No,
Well, the
it's
rules are
not. It's
just.
judging.
The rules are just. The
Okay.
choice is just.
To be very clear, I'm gonna return to this again.
Okay.
God created humans the way that they are, knowing what was going to happen. Correct?
He has infinite foreknowledge.
Infinite foreknowledge, yes. And he created ultimately the rules by which humans are judged.
Absolutely.
And he created the punishment for those rules.
Yes, they
Yes.
were.
So what part of this is
Might-
outside of God's control?
Well, he is always in control.
Yes. So he sends people to hell for eternity.
Well, he would know.
Knowing before they were born that they were going to go to hell.
Yeah. Does the God that you believe exists and worship send people to hell?
No.
Okay.
He has.
I'm gonna
created-
let's go through this. He created humans. He created the rules that
He
humans
has
are judged
created-
by, and he created the punishment. Which part of that is not God sending someone to hell?
Well, it's not that God sends us to hell. It's that our sin nature,
That he
or
created.
our position.
He created our nature, and he created the rules that judge it, and he created the punishment. What part of that is outside of God's control?
Well, he is sovereign.
Yes. Does
So,
anything
really?
happen that your God does not allow to happen?
Jesus teaches in the New Testament
That is kind of a yes or no question. You think.
that God, our Father, is aware of even the hairs on the tops of our heads.
Yes.
Okay.
The number of the hairs on the top of your head. Is he aware
correct.
that when you're born, you're going to hell?
Again, with his infinite foreknowledge, yes, he does know.
Okay. So just to be very clear, do you believe that God could not send people to hell?
Well, that would be a contradiction. He
Of
would
what?
need to contradict himself. He would need to
Could God not do that?
rip away his word and replace it with its negation. For
So
example,
God is not
thou shalt not
capable
bear false
of
witness.
changing the rules so that people don't go to hell. One shot.
I think he would cease to be if that were the case. And that's why I would account this as absurd.
I
Okay.
actually
But
think it's
God has-
morally. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
but God has infinite foreknowledge. So he knew this was going to be the situation when he created the world. Is that correct?
Well, he even knew that we would at one
Yeah,
time.
and you believe that he knew that we would have this conversation, and yet he didn't supply you with better responses. Did he know that people were going to be sent to hell for eternity in the numbers that they're being sent to hell for eternity that you believe?
Yes.
Yeah. And you are calling this being just.
Well, when someone lies, they ought to be punished for that lie. mentioned
For
by-
Okay.
eternity.
Hold on. If
Is
someone-
it for eternity?
Yeah, if someone lied to you, would you put them in the closet and set the building on fire? Would you lock them downstairs and burn down the building? Is that a proper response to someone lying to you?
No, I would rather
Hey.
confront them.
And
Well,
if you
I
talk to
mean-
your neighbor and your neighbor constructed a house with a fiery torture chamber in the basement and said, I'm going to teach some of my children to lie and then tell them that they should stop doing that. And then I know many of them will fail and then I'm going to send them into the torture basement of fire. Would you say that your neighbor is just?
No, I would.
Okay. Is the God that you believe that created lying children and then created a fiery furnace for his lying children and then said, I know some of them are going to fail to not lie and I'm going to send them to the fiery basement of torture, a just God?
Well, yes.
All right.
Because-
All right.
So,
Because the sin,
I'm
He-
trying
he
real
doesn't
hard
just
not
let
to
the
say,
sin
thanks for
occur.
playing.
no,
Yeah.
you know what? He's sticking to his guns, and I like it.
Yeah.
So, Eugene, here's the thing. We actually have a couple other things, but I do want to tell you, we just popped over 24,000 subscribers.
Well,
We're really excited about it. We have 561 people watching and only 91 upvotes. Come on, guys, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Well-
but we will save a spot for you.
Eugene is
If
still
you
on.
want access to those people, if you want to talk to us and continue to engage with us, you are welcome to call back next week.
Please, yeah, we're Eugene. Our show has come to the end of its time slot, so we're
But for the people on the line,
Well,
stay on the
maybe we
line.
can-
stay on the line. We'll do
we
some.
can engage in a quid pro quo.
On our show,
I will.
we'll on
Well,
our show
what
we'll
is it-
stick to guiding
What
the
is he?
conversation.
What is he? Yeah.
Well, I would encourage you gentlemen to humble yourselves.
Sir,
I will.
Sir,
will,
I was a
without a doubt.
Bible-believing Christian for 20 years. I read the ESV, NIV, and the King James Version. I've studied, I've read, I've led Bible studies. I've preached, I've taught at Bible camp, right? I've been saved, right? I have been baptized. I mean, I've stood at the front of the church and gave my life to Christ. And then later, feeling guilty because I didn't feel like I did it right, I did it again. Right?
To be clear, he has humbled
So,
himself.
so with that said,
Then
the humble yourself
atheism
before
should not
Christ.
be your position.
I'm sorry?
Then atheism should be absurd to you.
You know what?
If
Maybe there's something
the
about
God
this
of heaven-
atheist position that is not quite within your understanding yet.
And
I would
we'd be
encourage
happy
you
to
to
talk
look
about
into
it.
it.
Yeah. But
And
with that
to call
said,
back next week.
Yep. With that said, though, we are going to move forward. Eugene, we hope you have a really great weekend and a really great week, and we hope to hear from you again. It was very nice talking to you.
gentlemen.
You were very patient, and I appreciate that. I know I can get heated, and I deeply appreciate you being as kind as you were. Thank you, Eugene.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.